Hello and welcome to all of our new creators out there. I'm Ryan. I am the creator of XRP. I'm also known as Reactivity. I'm going to really just dive into this tutorial today to really show the locomotion system inside here. We're going to have many different videos going over many different topics and courses as XRP comes together, as the game's formed, as the community builds different types of things, and it just forms into this project. And we're going to be learning these things for quite a while, using these new techniques within Unity. So I want to go over how it's set up. It's really not that bad. For locomotion, there's a couple different ways that you have to keep in mind. You have your public rooms and your private rooms. Inside the private rooms have a different locomotion system than a public room would. And inside your testing folders, creators, when you're setting up a testing or something else like that, I recommend just using a stationary XR rig to do your debugging with, because if that works, everything else will work down the line. A lot of these assets with the player and the locomotion has so many scripts and so many components to get around so many workarounds inside the game. Really just want to use those components for your public rooms and use stationary XR rigs for your testing purposes. But once you're ready to start crafting your stage and your rooms are coming together, I'm going to go over how to get that in. So we're going to go to our home scene, right in Ironhead Game Scenes home scene. Inside the home scene, you're going to see the base layout for our private room setup. Inside this private room, you'll be able to switch your avatar, have the UI menu, have the base setup of it all. And what you want is VR Player Controller 2. This one basically has most of the components. You could take this, drag it, drop it into your project, and you will have the avatars and what they are. But this is not what you're going to want for your level. For your level, which is going to be public and shown off to people, you're going to want to do what the public rooms are doing. So I'm going to open up the public room. It's nicknamed School, but we're calling it Cave. So inside this cave is a lot of different test components. And it also has the main components for multiplayer. So if we look right over here in our hierarchy, we're going to go to inside your managers. You're going to have these three managers that are basically running everything in the background. You will need this, so copy and paste this. Drag it as a main prefab into your assets. You're going to want to drop that in there. So make sure it has all three of these and double check to make sure it's all set up. It's going to spawn a generic VR player. And this is what is going to run everything inside of your public rooms. So again, inside your public rooms, you're going to need an XR interaction manager. You're going to need your managers, all three. Make sure you take all three of these and you prefab them and you put them in your own project. You're definitely going to need a sky and fog volume. The profile is going to make all the difference on how everything runs inside there. And then anything else is really you. But we're going to go into this spawn manager right here. This spawn manager, you're going to want to look at the three things. It has its script, its generic VR player, which is the main VR prefab. So this prefab is for the public rooms. This one's for handling the workarounds. So if you're going to have other people inside of your space, this is what you're going to want to use. This is what's going to spawn. This is what's going to run. The other thing you want to know is spawn position. This is the position inside the world, not this object, inside the world that the player is going to spawn. So if I want him to spawn, I don't know, 20Y in the sky, I'm going to push 20 here. And if I want him exactly 0, 0 of the world space, it's going to be 0, 0. A lot of times you'll take an object, make a sphere or something, drop it in, write down the transform position, and then copy that into your spawn point for a specific spawn location. So here we're going to go to our generic VR player. Inside here is running everything that's going to need to happen inside the public space and switching in and out of avatars. This is basically spawned in, and then every player that also spawns in is also a copy of this, but it has different variations based on what they picked in the past level. Anything can be customizable, but I recommend leaving this alone until you advance your studies inside there. And then, of course, the characters will become more complex, and this will take on its next iteration of what the players, this generic VR player prefab is going to be, or its next iteration of it, because a lot of concepts will learn something and remake it and make it even better next time. But inside this, we're going to explain the breakdown real quick. I'm not going to go through everything because it is a lot. If you have not studied XR interactions or XR VR multiplayer within Unity or XR setup within Unity, you need to watch these videos. And then on top of that, there's a lot of workarounds in place to make sure everything's working. You're also going to notice, if I go back a scene, when we make a plane a teleport area. So you're going to want to put in its teleport area. The other important thing to do is the interaction manager is hooked up. The size of the colliders, you always need one collider. I don't like using mesh colliders. I like using box colliders. They always work with VR. So I recommend putting a nice fresh box collider on there. Size element, and just drag it, drop right into there. Make sure it's hooked up. The custom rectangle doesn't really matter. It's whatever shows when the raycast hits that plane. And then what you're going to notice is the weird part that I'll send you for a loop. It's going to say teleport provider, none. Now, if you were to do testing or something else like that, you would, of course, plug in your teleport provider there. But because this is a public room and this instance is spawned with other players, we had to put different workarounds in place. So you're actually going to leave that blank. And inside your managers, we actually have a script that's going to fill that in when the players spawned in. Of course, you can dig through that at a later video, and we'll get into it. Leave any comments below on topics you would like to see or the power you would like to see behind XRP. We have great plans to grow this in the future of being the place for live performances for artists to really take their art to that next level with HDRP. And the highest level of visual effects that we could possibly put inside of a game. I look forward to seeing all your creations. You can go online right now to the webpage or to our Discord to find the link to the webpage and register to be a Tier 1 or Tier 2 creator and get started building right away. We are still in our early days, so I really support and thank you all for everything down the lines. I'm looking forward to the future. We're going to wrap this up now. So again, to just conclude, leave this blank, your teleport provider, for your whatever walkable surface that you want. Okay, make sure it has its box collider put into place. Okay, and then inside of your scene, you have Interactions Manager, XR, Managers, Virtual World Spawn, and Photon Voice Manager. And as long as you have all that hooked up, it will work. If you hit a wall or something's not working, feel free to reach out to me on the Discord, and we will, of course, fix this issue right away and work towards a better video explaining it. Till the next round.